thank you for joining, guys. The reason for this Flexi Choice refresher is that they have recently introduced a couple of new LTV shelves. Flexi Choice, as you probably guys are already aware, they kind of put themselves out as one of the lowest rates in the market. In the recent months, they've not quite been there. They've just been sorting things out, rearranging the pricing, but now they are coming back. So you're probably going to see them more frequently on your sourcing. So I thought it'd be good benefit to find out, to know what Flexi does, what they're good at, just so you can spot those opportunities. So we have, if my system, come on, what's going on? Here we go. There we go. There's an horrible photo of me that we will skip very quickly by. And then, yeah, Flexi Choice. So bit of a brief overview. As I see the guys on here, I know you will be familiar with it as it is, but in its normal form, Flexi Choice, it can consider properties with a minimum value of 125,000. For any ex-local authority, that does go up to 150,000. There is a max property value of 2 million. That is in England. Wales and Scotland, that does just drop to 1 million. The price points, that's one thing that we wanted just to emphasize with you today. Previously, that was increased. It was in the ranges of 6% to about 43, 44, maybe 45%. As you see now there, they've increased that by 3 to 4% there, getting close to that 50% that we all love to see. There's no max property, no max loan amount on this plan. It just goes with the sizing of the max property cap there. Age ranges are between ages 55 and 84. That 84 is 84 and 364 days and 364 and a half days if we can push it. We'll do it right up until they turn that age of 85. So that's there for you. Now, if you're lucky enough to get a property that's worth 2.5 million, 3 million, 5 million, and they're looking at a 2 million, well, looking at loans over 1 million. If you're lucky enough to get some of those, Flexi Premier is there to help for you. So this basically takes over where Flexi finishes. So where they have a maximum property cap of 2 million, Flexi Premier comes in. You have to have a minimum property value of 2 million to access this product, but then that does go unlimited. So you could have a £2 million property, £5 million property. We have seen £20 million properties. So if you're lucky enough to come across a client like that, we do have a home. We do have an ability to help you. They are a little bit lower loan to values. As you can imagine, that's because of the sizing of the loans, but you can still get up to 43% loan to value. Maximum loan of 2 million. There is an asterisk there because, again, if you're lucky enough to come across a client that says, I need 3.5 million, I want 2 million up front, 1.5 in the reserve, just for lifestyle, right? That's enough for lifestyle. Because our criteria doesn't allow it, doesn't mean we can't consider it. Have a conversation with us, that we have known examples where we have spoken to the funder, explained it to them, and they are willing to take a chance on it and create an exception to something that they normally wouldn't accept. So no guarantees, we can't promise anything, but if something's just outside of criteria across any of the points, have the conversation with us. We might be able to help and bend the rules there for you. Of course, the Flexi Choice, it comes with the core 4, which are your flexible repayments up to 10%. They can make as many payments as they want within that year, provided they just don't go over that 10% mark of the initial balance as well. So if they take £100,000, they can make annual payments of £10,000 every year, ERC free. It has fixed ERCs. It is a 15-year fixed term, and that goes down in scale. Year 1, 10, year 2, 9, etc., etc., etc. Years 10 to 15 are down at 1%, almost negligible. We are in conversations about trying to reduce that, bring that down to 10 years. So watch this space, but currently 15-year fixed term. We do, of course, have the ERC exemption on death or long-term care of the first borrower, and we do have downsizing protection that will kick in after 5 years. Okay, again, just a little bit more information there. I'm sure you don't need the details for that amount. So, in the current climate, this is the one that I think is probably the most valuable tool that Flexi offers. They offer dynamic pricing. So again, you'll have seen this when you're sourcing. They don't source quite like some of the other products do, where you can almost see the LTV shelves, so you can work out, right, this is the bracket for this rate, this is the bracket for that rate, etc., etc. Flexi have done it slightly differently. They have dynamic pricing. So what that means is that you need to be specific in sourcing. It's going to tailor the case specifically for your client. With this dynamic pricing, what it does is it sometimes can mean that there's a better rate for someone on one side of the street, potentially to someone on the other side of the street, and that may be down to catchment area, it may be down to type of the property, it may be down to upkeep of the property. So it's dynamic pricing tailored to your individual client. Flexi were the very first to do this, but as you'll probably see in the market now, Aviva do it, L&G have started to do it, and I think in the next few years you're probably going to see a lot of the lenders move into this model, as it's something that the FCA are really looking at. Right, we've got to be doing what's right for the client and not looking to lend them too much or give them too much in that early stages. That's again with that risk profile strategy, that's what it leads into. Now the further borrowing, this is brilliant. This is a brilliant feature with Flexi that I don't believe anyone else in the market has the ability to do, which is that when it comes to further borrowing, they are not keeping you within your LTV tranches. So I will use one of our other products as an example, Capital Choice. I'm sure you're all familiar with Capital Choice. Hopefully you'll have all used it once. And you know, with Capital Choice, the client goes with Capital Choice Superlight 1. That's giving them what they need today, with a little bit of a reserve that, you know, that's going to look after them for the next 2 or 3 years. In 2 or 3 years time, they come back and they're looking at, they need more borrowing, they've had a change in circumstances, and they might need more than what that bracket's going to actually offer. Unfortunately, the only recourse that that client would have would be to rebroke the deal. And if they've got a favourable rate, it's really difficult to talk them into rebroking that. And it's not a good scenario. With Flexi Choice, they eliminate that issue. So the client today could be in a scenario where they need a small amount, you know, 10,000 initial amount. They've got 30,000 in a reserve. That's just for lifestyle for the next 3 years. After 3 years, there's been a change in circumstances. The family member needs a deposit, otherwise they're going to be out on the street. So the client there would like to help. They're looking at a further advance. With the Flexi Choice, the further advance, they can actually move up the brackets. So even though they were taking the low bracket, low rate, low LTV in that first initial borrowing, because circumstances have changed, they can move up through the brackets and take what the maximum would be available for anyone within that Flexi range. And that is quite unique. Obviously, the price points go with it, but it's giving true flexibility to the client, and it's prioritizing those clients' needs. Any questions there so far, guys? All good? All good? All right. Cool. Right, and this is, a little bit more of what I was explaining there. So customer had modest borrowing needs to get a mid-range, birthday's passed, so of course older, equity grows, and the risk has reduced, and then as a result, there's a higher range of products there for the client. Again, similar scenario. They needed modest borrowing in the initial, they now need maximum release. Providing the LTVs are there, the client can move up those brackets and take whatever they need there. Okay, a little bit about the sourcing. So again, I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've had your frustrating points with it, especially when it was brand new, because it was yeah, a little bit difficult in the first instances. So when it's an initial advance, you don't have to worry. It's going to source very similar to how everybody else sources. It'll be in the brackets there, wherever the rate is. You're going to see that product and think, right, that might be the right solution for my client. When it comes to reserves, that's where you've got to do things ever so slightly different. With Flexi, they want you to be very, very specific. Again, this is coming from the FCA about not over borrowing. It's coming from Flexi thinking that this is the right thing for the clients to say, the clients want X amount, you put that figure in there. You're not looking for that price point to see, oh, how much could they get? It's designed to be more specific there. And again, it is there to tailor that rate. So you can play around with these drawdown figures and, you know, start 10,000, 20,000, whatever it may be, and you can work your way down. That'll affect the rate. So if the client is rate sensitive, you can find that happy medium spot, maybe 9,000 in the reserve, maybe 8,000 in the reserve. If you're ever struggling with it, if you ever need any assistance with it, our team are there to help you. Either your account managers, your BDMs, advisor support will be able to point you in direction of your account managers. We're there to help. We'll be able to find those price points for you if and when you do need them. Okay. Right. A little bit of just upkeep stuff again that you may well be familiar with. 21 days. So when you create the KFI, there's nothing in regards to, oh, there's been a rate movement and now the deadline begins. Not with Flexi. As soon as you create that KFI, you have 21 days to submit the application. If it's 22 days, we can't do anything about it. For whatever reason, if it goes over that 21-day period, that unfortunately the deal is gone. Now, FYI for you guys, whenever you are creating a Flexi KFI, if the 21 days is coming towards an end and you think, I need to refresh this, I need another 21 days just to speak with my client, make sure that this is right for them, make sure you create a brand new KFI. Don't amend. For other products, that's fine. But with Flexi, when you amend, our system isn't smart enough at this stage. So behind the scenes, it has that first timestamp from when you first created that KFI. Even when you refresh, all it ever sees is that first timestamp. So whenever you need to do it, create a brand new KFI. That'll give you another 21 days validity. All right. App to offer, you've got 42 days, and that's standard across all our plans there. Flexi is a shorter extension than some of the others. It's a 42-day offer with a 30-day automatic extension, so 72 days total. On day 40, you don't need to be calling us saying, oh, please can we have an extension? Are we allowed an extension? Is extension applicable? It will be automatic across all plans. You don't need to chase. We will sort that for you. And so you, in essence, you know, you've got 72 days of that offer before we have to move to prevailing rate. One little bit of admin. Again, I'm sure you guys have seen this before. Flexi Choice, they require one extra step when you've completed your case. They require your suitability report to be uploaded onto our repository system. This is, no one looks at it, no one investigates it. It's almost a break glass in case of emergency scenario. You don't need to model your suitability report to anything specific. It can be your suitability report that you use day in, day out. You upload it, and that just stays there in case there's ever a complaint. Right. Sorry. Criteria. Yeah, this is my favorite bit really because of how much Flexi can actually do criteria wise. When I first joined about three years ago now, Flexi was kind of considered a bit of a niche plan. It had super low rates, you know, 2.5%, 2.75% rates. But feedback I had was that, oh, they don't like near commercial, they don't like flat roofs, they don't like flood zones, all this kind of stuff. In the 3 years I've been here, Flexi's done nothing but get better and better and better and better and more of what we want, really. One of the highlights, obviously, is the proximity to commercial. Rule of thumb with Flexi Choice is that as long as it's not wall to wall, it can be considered. So, as an example, you've got your property in question, you've got an alley, and then you've got a convenience store here. Because there's an alley, because you can see daylight, that can be considered. Surveyor makes some comments. Obviously, that's what we're held to, but we can at least take it to valuation for you. Same scenario, but there's no alley. So you've got your property, terrace row or whatever, convenience store is here, main property here. We can't accept that. But any sort of form of daylight, it can be considered under Flexi Choice. They have their own ambient flood checking system, which can be quite beneficial really, because it's looking forward rather than looking backwards. So less on historical flooding, less on flood zone 3 with or without defences. It's taken in 3 different forms: pluvial, fluvial, and tidal, I believe it is. So obviously, sea, rainwater, surface water. What it means is that sometimes you'll have something in flood zone 3, no one's looking at it with a barge pole. We run it through our floods assessment tool. It might be able to pass, and we may be able to consider the case. In the flip side, sometimes, very rarely, you'll have something where you've not even considered flooding because it's on a hill in the middle of the country. Potentially there may be surface water issues, which may mean we may not be able to lend on it. The key point with this flood risk is always check with us before you submit the app. Use your account managers, use advisor support. It's a quick 2-minute job. All you need is the postcode, house number, and we can tell you very, very quickly with that one. Septic tanks. Septic tanks are, they can be quite common, especially equity release. I see them more in this industry than I do in anything else. Flexi, they can accept shared septic tanks up to a maximum of 4 households. There is a little bit of an asterisk there as well in regards to some of these new estates. So I don't know if you guys have seen any as of yet, but there's certain new estates that seem to have a big sewage treatment tank that services the whole estate that doesn't really link to your main sewage. If you come across one of those, because of course that's going to be a lot more than 4 whole households, there's certain estates we can consider. I don't have that information in front of me, and it's probably not relevant at this stage, but if you ever come across that and you think, oh, how am I going to do that? It's a septic tank technically for 50 households. Have the conversation with us. We can have a look and we may be able to help you there. So main takeaway, have the conversation with us about it. Flat roofs, we can do 100% flat roofs on Flexi, and for the lower loan to values. They are brackets 1 to 3. You won't be able to see that. But if you ever have a property that has 100% flat roof, let us know. We can find those LTV points for you to let you know if it can be accepted as the 100% flat roof, or if it's 50% as the standard. But that has gone a long way. When I started, I believed it was 15% they could consider. They're now at 50% as standard and 100% for low LTVs. So watch this space, couple of years, it'll be 100% across the board, I'm pretty sure. They can do solar panels owned or leased, UK finance compliant, that's acceptable. We can accept lodgers up to a maximum of 2 with an agreement that they have to leave within 30 days notice. Properties with high acreage, so our standard Flexi is up to 5 acres, but that premier one, those ones where its property value is over 2 million, it actually has uncapped acreage as well, and usually they will go hand in hand, right? You've got £20 million property, probably going to have 50 acres of land. We will only value to 5, but we will consider and we will take security on it. Another one that they've not put on here, I guess it's relatively new, but it's one that I think is definitely an impressive one. Is small commercial use. Flexi can consider small commercial use. So you're talking hairdressers, art teachers, people making clay pots with one of those removable kilns, things like that. we can consider. The rules are it's got to be contained to one room within the property, potentially an annex or whatever, or a garage, whatever it may be. And the equipment's got to be easily removed, so you want nothing bolted down, nothing attached to walls, stuff that just can be easily removed and turned back into a room. If you have clients that have scenarios like that, Flexi Choice can consider it. Okay, and like I say, there's quite a lot more. I'm not going to bore you by going through them all, but one of the main takeaways is if you've got something that's no one else is having considering, it's within criteria to a point. There's only a couple of points out. Have the conversation with us. We've got quite a few examples of scenarios where no one would touch it. We've packaged it up and sent that up to the funder as a package deal, saying there's no risk X, Y, and Z. Flexi have turned around and said, you know what, we'll go with that. There's one example where there was a property that came to us and apparently there was 2 titles. So yeah, we can consider 2 titles. Let's have a look at it. The app came in so we could get a val. After the val turned out there were 5 titles. It was a bit of a pig of a property where it was sometimes even a broom cupboard was on a different title. Don't know what they'd done. A little bit crazy. Obviously, with it being multiple titles, Flexi wouldn't touch that usually. They wouldn't even consider it. They actually came to us and said, what should we do here? So our underwriters looked at it, saw it, so just take a charge over over all 5 titles. There's no risk to you there, X, Y, and Z. Flexi turned around and said, yeah, let's go with that. So it's a property with 5 split titles, split very weirdly. Managed to get it on the books with Flexi. So if it doesn't meet criteria, have the conversation with us. In certain scenarios, we might be able to bend those rules for you. Yep, just again, reminder there, make sure you put your mortgage clubs in, suitability report, and your postcode just to lock in that KFI for that KFI validity. Okay, and then I will finally just leave you there because we've just got a couple more minutes. With the support that we offer there for you, as I've alluded to, we've got loads of teams there to help you through advisor support, your account managers, your BDMs, all those people that you can pick up the phone and have a call with. On our website, we've got all the literature there, whether it be customer-facing guides around the features. We also have the nitty-gritty of the lending criteria if you're looking for an intense read, and also the tariff of charges. So any associated fees that come along with it, that's all there for you on the More to Life website. And while you're on that More to Life website, I'd say just have a quick look around the tools that we offer there for you. They're all free. And they can be really, really good visual guides for when you're speaking to your client, but also good for yourself as well. I take the maximum LTV tool as one example. Instead of flitting through all our different products, working out where's the top loan to value, trying to sift through your sourcing for the More to Life ones, whatever it may be. On our system, we have a tool that will show you the maximum LTVs across all the available plans that we have. So it's a quick, what's the figures, what's the amount? You can see it there front and center. So it's a quick, easy way of getting your figures. There's a local intelligence tool for advertising that is broken down into areas, so northwest, southeast, whatever it may be. Shows all the cases that were done in the previous 12 months and shows the average value there. Again, really good for if you're doing some targeted marketing, things like that. Retained equity and repayments calculator, again, that's really good for clients that are looking to make some form of partial repayments. You can use that tool to really show them where their property balance is going to be in 5, 10, 15 years. And also there's a lending criteria tool, which is brand new. Again, that is for when you're looking for specifics. So there's you've got property with flat roof. Who can do flat roof? You'll just type flat roof into that lending criteria tool and it'll return the products that can consider it and what percentages they can consider it. Almost like it's a bespoke More to Life knowledge bank almost. And that was it really. Does anyone have any questions there at all? So if anyone wants to pick up and have a conversation with me after this, then please do. My mobile is there. And if not, then enjoy your days. And yeah, I will speak to you soon.